They say winning ain't everything. Well, we don't have them type conversations over here, man. Had that conversation with the losers. We trying to win at everything we do. Even in the loss, we don't see defeat. We see a lesson learned. Straight up. Look, I came into this world in 1978. The doc looked me in my face and knew I was something great. 45, 42 Prescott, that's where I'm from. Grew up in the slums around dope dealers and bums. As humble as I was, I adapted to my habitat. In my own lane though, far from where they crashing at. Dumb bar graduate, the game I done mastered it. Served in the Navy, look, y'all don't know the half of it. Pops passed in '01, moms passed last year. I know they up in heaven smiling down, crying mad tears, cause they son making it. No telling where I'm taking it. My city been cursed, but I feel that I'm breaking it. Coached at Wayne High in 15 in one state. Seen the fork in the road and went straight. I know what I'm worth, I'm OG King CURT. Brooklyn Nets gaming crew legend, let's work.
Hey, this is OG King CURT, your host of the OG2CENTS podcast. I want to thank each and every one of you tuning in every Sunday. It's truly appreciated. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the like button, comment, share, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, helps us out a lot. Let's continue to speak out against all forms of racism and injustice. This episode is brought to you by Zenni Blocks. Make sure to armor your eyes with Zenni Blocks, virtually clear blue blockers. It's important to protect your eyes from the harmful light from your digital screens, so you'll have less eye strain. Makes for better sleep and performance. Check them out at zenni.com/gaming or follow them at Zenni Gaming on Twitter and Instagram. This episode is episode 25, Dress for Success with PK Kersey, and it's definitely going to make sense at the end of this interview. He's done a lot of great things, especially in Brooklyn, but impacting the world with what he does. PK Kersey is the founder of That Suits You, a nonprofit organization that provides suits to deserving men. Partners with NYC schools to teach, train, and motivate young people, and offers training to overall assistance with certified job programs throughout New York City and beyond. They have suited almost 9,000 people and counting, 9,000 men and counting. He's authored 2 books, Suited for Success and Suited for Success Volume 2. As y'all know, I don't like to do too much talking for my guests. I like to let them speak for themselves. So with further ado, we have PK Kersey. How you doing today?
What's going on, man? I salute you. I salute your work. I appreciate you having me on.
Nah, definitely the honor is all mine. Just getting right into it. I just want you to tell your story and how you got to where you are today.
Well, once again, thank you for having me on and sharing your platform. My name is PK Kersey. Grew up in Brooklyn. Love Brooklyn. Still in Brooklyn. But my story basically is my parents, who I always like to start with my parents. My father, he worked for transit for 25 years before he retired. Unfortunately, passed 2 years ago. My mother, she worked in Verizon for about 30 years, and before she retired. But basically, I get so much of who I am from them. They put a lot of training, a lot of knowledge and wisdom into me, my brother, and my sister about how we should be as we grew up. So in turn, I wound up working for New York State Department of Vehicle for 24 years. My brother's been making about 15, my sister, and a teacher about 13 some odd years. So they put that work ethic and that determination inside of us. But after working for DMV for a certain amount of time, after being there for about 20 some years, I started seeing a pattern where I didn't see a lot of black men working in the agency. And I used to wonder why, what was the big thing, why? But then when I got into the interview process of being a part of the hiring, I started noticing that a lot of the men who were coming to the interview, they weren't really coming prepared as far as what they had on, and as prepared as how to dominate or how to impress in an interview. I started seeing that a lot of women were being hired, but not a lot of men. So I started to think, how can I make impact, or how can I assist in this matter? Now, mind you, when I first started in DMV in '93, gentleman, older black gentleman I saw named Mr. Phelps, he kind of made an impression on me by the way he looked. He always was in a suit. He looked professional. He was always, dapper. And that made an impression on me to go along with the impression that my father used to make when him wearing suit and teaching us how to tie ties. So having those examples and that representation impressed upon me. When I started DMV, I started at the lowest level of grade 9, but I started dressing up, wearing suits, even though it wasn't required, because I know how important it is to first impressions, and you want to dress how you want to be dressed. So I just thinking about everything now, how our life and the people we encounter, uh, they impress upon us sometimes when we don't even know it or realize it. And so 24 years later, I wanted to have that same impression or help individuals to get hired, to be prepared, to dress properly, but I didn't know how or what to do, what my next step should be. So I just started thinking, how can I be effective? How can I help men, first of all, get into work? Because realizing I'm from East New York, Brooklyn. And if we don't, men and guys, if we don't get work legally, what are we going to do? We're going to do things illegally, fill up prison pipeline, things like that. So how can I do something to kind of assist in that manner? And that's where the idea for that suit shoot came about.
And that's great. You know, how rewarding has it been? I mean, like I said, it suited almost 9,000 men, and just big props to you for taking your knowledge and experience and impressing it upon people who need it. Because interviewing is definitely a skill that's highly overlooked, and especially in our culture, from how to speak, how to articulate things, and as well as how you dress. So how rewarding has that been?
It's definitely rewarding. I mean, you say over 9,000. Definitely couldn't do it alone. My brother Jamel Thompson, members like Davia Porter, David Dimitri, Maritza, she's definitely been part part of the team, and numerous volunteer people who help us do this. So just being able to do that and seeing the result is extremely rewarding. When you see guys who um, get the job, you see guys dress up, you see guys wear suits for the first time, you see guys learn how to tie ties for the first time, you see guys who have gone through it, because we do workshops and presentations. You see guys who have gone through that process, and they learn things from what we've been able to share with them, and seen to have a result in their life, where they're now making money. And we don't just talk about getting employment. That's probably one of the stages, but other stages is thinking about ownership, which I think is so important for especially black men, because you see in media, black women dominating, black women the fastest growing entrepreneurs, black women conferences. And I really love to see when a black businessman is out doing this thing, because number one, I know how challenging it is for him to get to that point. Whatever point he's at, I don't care whatever point he's at, it took something, some mustard, some energy, some strength, some determination to get to that point right there. So whatever point, just to see that, I honor that, I support that, and I push for that. So yeah, man, it's very rewarding, because I know that we just got our foot wet, and we're just really getting started. And the things that we want to do and want to accomplish is just going to happen by continued determination and pushing forward.
Yeah, I know I mentioned about partnering with NYC schools, but I know it's other partnerships involved. Speak on how those partnerships relate with That Suits You, and how it's helping overall.
Yeah, I mean, big shout out to New York City Department of Education, which is one of our major partner that allow. We started teaching high school image preparation. We call them choice workshops: change habits, options, communication, effort, and success. We also go and shout out to CUNY, who allows us to go to colleges to teach young men about the preparation and interviews, ownership. Now we've also, in New York City schools, gone into lower grades, fifth and sixth grade, where we have a modified version of just opening up their mindset just to think differently about relationships and things like that. But we also partner with organizations like Osborne, FedCap, numerous job training programs throughout the city, but also with companies who are clothing designers who donate to us brand new suits. Steve Harvey donated a number of suits to us. Macy's, custom design suits agencies have donated to us, and that makes a big difference because we love to get suits from private individuals, but sometimes those suits may not be the kind that we really want to donate. But when the companies give us those suits, they're brand new, they're clean, they're sharp, they're tailored. So it's just the partnerships that we have just help us to continue to do what we're able to do.
And like going from that phase of wearing you know, your jeans, sneakers, you know, t-shirt, and then finally putting on that first suit. It definitely ain't, there's no feeling like it. And then learning how to tie a tie. I know that you have some principles that you teach with tying a tie. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, and the thing about the suits for a second is we try to tell people it's not just about like the suits is not the end all be all. It's having tools in your tool belt. You want to be able to have, when you go play basketball, you want to have that look, play basketball. You ain't gonna play basketball in shoes. And when you, even though it's the same sport, when you play, I mean, different sport, but it's a sport, baseball, you're not gonna play for what you wear with basketball to play baseball. Different uniforms for different occasions. So a suit is something that when you put on a suit, big moment, big meeting, interview, taking care of business, it makes a statement. So that suit is making a statement for you. It's not just that the suit is everything. That's why the information and the workshops, what we teach, is so important to go along with the suit. So with the ties is like a process that we don't really honor, I think, as much as we should. When my father was able to take the time out to show me how to tie a tie, that interaction, that quality time, that learning, that is the template really for how a lot of relationships grow and are nurtured. So when we do that with the young men, it's not, yeah, show them how to tie a tie. It's that intimacy, that trust, that building a relationship, older man, younger man, sharing, learning. And that's how a lot of times you can do a lot of things in life. And we always try to tell them, just because you don't know how to tie the tie now, but I'm sharing with you, you're learning and you've gotten better. That's how you learn in life. You may not know how to do a lot of different things, but there's nothing wrong with saying, listen, I'm not sure. Can you repeat that? Or I don't know how to do this. No matter what age you are, no matter what level you're at, there's never anything wrong with saying, can you repeat that? We put so much stigma on saying, because I don't know, that means you're better than me. No, I don't know. You're here for a reason to assist me. Now we both elevated because you helped me. I'm better. Now I can help someone else. So there's never anything wrong with saying, listen, I didn't get that. Can you repeat it? Can you do that one more time? Run that by me again, just so I can be sure. There's never anything wrong with that because you never want to be in a place where I don't know, but you're afraid to ask, that was me in school. And a lot of my friends, we would rather not know than to ask, because if we feel that if we ask you, then you're better than us, I'm lower than you, which is a foolish mentality, but that's how we thought a lot. Instead of saying, listen, I didn't get that. Can you repeat it? Can you share with me? Can you do that again?
Yeah, I can relate. I went to public school in Dayton, Ohio, and I mean often you know, I was a honor student, but I know I had friends that was sometimes reluctant to sit in the front or to ask questions or sometimes, like you said, it takes an extreme amount of courage to to show ignorance, but the willingness to learn and remove that ignorance. And that's something that I try to use with my platform and what I do in mentoring as well is it's okay, like, so to not know, but to stay in that mindset that's the problem.
Right.
So no, that's great. You know, COVID-19 has impacted a lot of businesses and companies and in the world. You know, how has it affected that suits you?
Great question. Differently, different times, you know, prayers to all the people that have lost individuals during this time, lost income, lost everything. Um, we've been fortunate where we've been safe, healthy. Me personally, as far as it affected me, I have a 94-year-old uncle who I have to see every day, twice a day. So since this whole thing started, I've been in the street every day doing his shopping, uh, running his fares, paying his bills. So thank God that I've been healthy, my family's been healthy. But it's affected the business as we go into schools, we go into businesses and conduct workshops and give suits, pick up suits. So it's basically slowed that down to maybe 5%, but it's also given us opportunity for other things, such as developing virtual programming where we may not be able to be there physically, but now we can teach 10 times more virtually. We can share that virtual programming with different schools where they can play it and keep it. So it's helped us that way. It's helped us to the fact that me personally, being I haven't been able to do as much that suits you work, I've taken time to always wanted to do my real estate, get my real estate license, 75-hour course. So I always used to say, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. Now I have the time. So I'm halfway through with the courses to get my license for that. I've also started a podcast, uh, Tongue Tied. So we interview people and we just bring up people that's doing great work in the community, highlight their work, have conversations, learn. So you know, it's given us, I believe, it's given people an opportunity to reset, to refocus, to re-energize, to think about life, think about things that you want to do, but not just think, to put some things into action that maybe you put off for a while. I mean, so I'm very grateful for this time. I mean, it's also, I have twin boys, 11 years old, so I've had to do schooling, and that takes, you know, that takes time. You know, you gotta monitor monitor them. They not going to school, so you there all the time. You're working, so you've had to adjust your life. So it's been a total adjustment. But I have to thank God that everything has been, we're fine. Everything is going well. But I do appreciate the refocus and allowing me to, me and my brother for That Suits You, we're writing That Suits You Kid children's book that'll be out in a couple of months. So nothing as you said, how it's affected That Suits You. It hasn't stopped us, but it has allowed us to branch out into other areas, do some things that we wanted to do, but always still working, never stop working.
No, I definitely can relate to that. I said, you know, I'm just like you. I had some things that I wanted to accomplish, but you know, in the regular rotation of the world, I would be busy, and
Right.
as the world kind of stood still, unfortunately, I made some commitments to myself to work on a lot of things that I've been wanting to work on and actually executing it. And I
Mm,
said for anybody during this time, like, this is, you know, there's not, I mean, of course there's online shopping, but there's not so much the physical aspect of going to shop for extra things that you really don't need, because there's not too many occasions going on, or there's no parties, there's no events or anything like that beyond virtual. So you got a lot of room to save money and put it towards other projects that you may have been wanting to do. And so this is almost been the moment of the hustler, is what I called it. I mean, it's just the like you said, refocus, rechannel. You know, a lot of things that you want to get done and make it happen. And
right.
so I definitely have been on that path as well.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? How committed so many guys were to the sports. We really haven't had sports in months. And we used to always think, like, what would I do without sports? But we've really been with, I mean, sometimes I'm up watching lacrosse, old lacrosse tapes on TV. I mean, it's just crazy. But at the same time, it allowed you to really do some other things that you may be putting off. And just been appreciative for that. You don't want to look back and say, wow, these 4 months I've done nothing. Maybe that's good for some people. Maybe some people need to do nothing. But I'm glad that for the things that I've done during the 4 months, podcast, real estate, children's book, exercise. I made a commitment to exercise every single day. I changed my eating. So I have made significant physical and mental progression during this time.
Now you mentioned you have twin boys. Are identical or fraternal?
Fraternal.
Yeah, I'm an identical twin.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, our physical appearance have changed. We, of course, we're two different people, but yeah, that it was funny. I mean, just hearing that because you don't often hear about twins. So when you do, it's like it's a big thing. I know back home in Troy, like I said, I'm from Dayton, Ohio, but in Troy, Ohio, they normally every year they have a twins fest, and where like twins from all over come in, and it's a great event. Me and my brother actually haven't had the time to go. We said we were gonna go, but obviously now because it typically happens around August. But
he's in Manhattan too.
No, he's actually back home in Ohio.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely maybe hopefully somewhere in the near future we get a chance to attend because I feel like twins is like one of those it's one of those great societies because everybody's not a twin, so it's like it's really great. I know being young growing up, the identity crisis hit us tough though. I mean, you used to dressing alike, doing everything the same, and we branched away pretty much in our early teens. But you know, video games. I always ask this. I mean, a large part of my platform is being a part of the gaming industry. Do you play, and what games do you play?
Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I was one, and this is fact. Madden came out in '91, I believe, like a version of it. They didn't have all the teams, but '91 they had something. '92, I think they finally had all the teams. I was probably the biggest. I'm talking. I used to buy the books, go to tournaments. Madden, I played Madden from '91, the first version, till 2000. And right when my sons were born, 2000, around 2013, I stopped playing. I mean, but I used to play so much, it was ridiculous. I mean, but I was nice. I was really nice. So the games that I played were Madden. I played live a lot, and I used to play some adventure games, but I used to go very hard. So I haven't really played them in like, since I started the business, since like maybe 6-7 years, but I was one of the biggest Madden fans out there.
No, okay. Far as traditional sports, who's the favorite NFL, NBA teams?
My teams are different. Steelers football, baseball, Red Sox, basketball, unfortunately, the Knicks. But we had some years with Ewing and them, but ever since then, I mean, we did have that good year in '99 with Freewell, Houston. But other than that, and yeah, those are my three teams that I'm rocking with.
Yeah. How did you end up becoming a Steelers fan?
Well, you gotta remember, I grew up in the '70s,
Okay.
so they won 4 Super Bowls. East New York, my building, 195 Cosine, we were either Steelers or Cowboys. So I always hated the Cowboys no matter what.
Right.
My was a Jet fan, and that just turned me off completely from the Jet. So, but Steelers, I rock with them since I remember the first Super Bowl they were in against the Cowboys, and they won. So, yeah, I've been with the Steelers.
Now, I mean, for me, I was a lifelong Knicks fan. The only thing that changed for me is obviously, well, kind of obviously, when I got employed by Brooklyn, it just was natural for me to become a Brooklyn Nets fan, and the timing probably couldn't be any greater, but it was a
You got
hard decision though.
fans now. There's gonna be a lot of bandwagon Brooklyn fans now.
Yeah, but that's I think, what is it? Probably since the 03, 04. Like now people are more inclined. They chase the players. They don't really
Right.
chase it. They're not really like, I came up. I'm like, yeah, I came up through the 80s, 90s. People were diehard team fans.
Right.
Like,
Now,
if a player left, hey, wish bad luck on you. Whatever new player come in, they embraced them, and that was their team. But now it's pretty much, if a LeBron fan, KD fan, Kyrie, like whoever, like you gonna follow
stay
them wherever they go.
right. Yeah, it's hard. I can't do that. I'm more branded with the team. I mean, I do like what the Nets are doing, but I'm branded with the teams. So I've been with Steelers for years, Knicks for years, Red Sox for years. I was brought up.
Well, man, it's you think that the Knicks are going? Who you think the Knicks are going to get, or who do you want them to get?
As coach,
Now,
uh,
well, coach and in the draft, who do you want them to get?
well, I mean, we have a lot of work to do, but I think coaching is really big. So if they get Thibodeau, I mean, what's his name? That's how you pronounce his name too.
Yeah,
I,
Gibbs.
yeah, I think he can give them some of the things that they need as far as discipline, and they can't keep changing. Like if you keep changing stuff, that's definitely not good. So he will give them like a baseline, and then you can get an identity known for probably defense, or have some type of identity, even if it's not defense, some type of structure. I believe that he would be a good look for them. I don't know why they never got on the Mark Jackson thing. I mean, you always hear rumors about different things, but they never went that way. Hey, but I think that he would have been a good fit for them. Nick, New York Nick, that all that going with it. But hey, pick somebody, get an identity, and with the draft, that's kind of a tough question. I mean, we haven't seen college basketball in so long. I'm like, I don't even know like who would be biggest one or where they would pick from. But this is a strange season. It's crazy. It's going on July and August, and we still haven't had a final. So it's a very strange season. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into sport. Baseball tomorrow, NBA in August, I think, and then football.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's when I became a Knicks fan. I like Mark Jackson's rookie year. I like watching him and Patrick Ewing play together. And then a lot of people are going to forget this as the years go by, but it's not like Mark Jackson wasn't under, the Golden State Warriors wasn't under Mark Jackson's tutelage when they was putting that team together before they went on the run that they did. So,
That's the
uh,
biggest question ever. Would they have still did it with Mark, or was Steve Kerr like? That's the question that I guess we'll never have an answer, but we'll always be.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Mark Jackson is more like he's definitely more defensive oriented, but those guys were still playing, I think, at a comfort level on
Right,
offense. But he definitely, he's a defensive oriented guy. He came up through the what most people argue that the defensive era are one of the more physical
right,
periods of the NBA. So
right.
definitely understood with that. Um, looking now you do know that the NBA 2K League, the Knicks do have a championship in the
They
NBA
do.
2K. Yeah, they do. They won season 1. We're in
Oh,
our 3rd year,
get
and
out of here.
they brought a title to New York. So I mean,
Gotta get in. I gotta get into that.
yeah. But yeah, it's a great league, up and coming. We're in our 3rd season. 23 teams now, 22 NBA affiliated teams. Uh,
Hmm.
one non-North American franchise in Gen G, based out of Shanghai. Um,
Wow.
but and they actually operate on the West Coast. But it's definitely you know, if you like gaming, you know, obviously this year we're playing remote, but typically we would be playing physical in an arena in the studio in New York. So it's definitely
So
some
this,
just
everybody was coming to the studio in New York?
yeah. The first 2 seasons we were in Brooklyn studios in Long Island City, and then this year we were moved to Manhattan. So um, this you know it's been kind of bittersweet because we haven't stepped foot inside the new studio yet, but we've been playing remote. The exposure's been great. We've been on ESPN2 multiple times. Actually,
I've
um,
seen it.
yeah, so it's definitely something to check out when you get a chance. I know you're busy in your lane and everything like that, but New York, like I said, New York has been represented. Obviously, I'm operating the Brooklyn side of things, and you know we in the middle of the pack right now, but trying to figure some things out, but definitely competing at all costs. So it's definitely something to check out.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You now, who controls it? You do it, or you have other people that run the team? Like, how does that work?
It's 5v5. Actually, each teams have 6 players.
Ah,
Physically, you have a 6 man, of course, or a woman, and they compete 5v5. You have somebody playing point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward,
oh,
and center.
that's what's up. That's what's
So yeah,
up.
it's a good deal. You know, the players are paid; they're professionals. A lot of things going into it. The league is growing rapidly. So
Mm,
yeah, you can check them out you know, at NBA 2K League on all social media platforms and you know, YouTube website at NBA2KLeague.com. Yeah, it's something that's going to grow. Obviously, you know, esports have kind of taken off during this time because you can
right.
pretty much do it, you know, from anywhere. So it's definitely gave us a lot of good exposure, and I'm just excited to see what happens going forward. And that's kind of leading into, you know, kind of piggybacking around to that suits you, like going forward. I see you got some nice virtual seminars going on coming up in the near future. You know, and that's obviously probably going to be something that's pretty consistent until we get back into the physical nature of things. Just talk about that a little bit before we get out of here.
Yeah, I have actually I have one tomorrow. We have a great partnership with Queens Public Library where they have access to high school students. So we're going to do an image presentation and basically talk about how to make great first impression. You know, one of the things we deal with is you never just want to make a okay first impression or I first impression. You want to make an outstanding first impression. Well, how does that happen? That doesn't happen by accident. You have to be deliberate and intentional. And it's basically the 3 V's: your visual, which obviously what you see, your vocal, tone, your pitch, and your verbal, the words that you use. So how to articulate. So we're going to talk about some of those things. And also the 7-Eleven rule, we're going to go into in the first 7 seconds, people make about 11 judgments about who they think you are. So how to dominate the 7-Eleven, how to dominate 3D. So we have workshops and presentations that we deal with. So shout out to Queens Public Library. We have one with them. We did one with the JFK, LaGuardia, and Port Authority. We did one with them. We do them with schools. And it's basically just sharing information, tips, strategies of how to think about it. A lot of men haven't worn suits or don't know how to properly wear suits. How many buttons? How many buttons do you button? What colors should you wear? What combination? How to tie? We do tie trainings. How to tie? Every guy should know at least 2 to 3 different knots. How to tie a bow tie? What happens if you got to wear a bow tie? So just different tips and keys of how to rock that right look so that you can dominate and make that great first impression.
I like that. I mean, it's crazy because I worked in healthcare for years before I got into the gaming industry, and my brother he worked in the medical field. as well, more in hospitals and things like that. And he actually had to wear, shirt and tie every day. And so he used to teach me a lot. And I always liked that. I mean, me, I'm one of those type people. If I don't know something, I want to learn. I use Google to its fullest. I use YouTube to its fullest. I use the resources around me. I don't like not knowing. And like that was one of those things. Like I would watch him tie his tie. He would tell me about different tones and what color belts to wear with certain shoes and and everything. And he always been a nice dresser when it comes to that. And I always keep him, by my side when I need to. And my mom, rest her soul, she was the same way. She always liked she liked bright colors though. She didn't like dark colors. She always liked to put us in bright colors and stand out and different things like that. And most of the time, what I would do later in my early years, in my 20s, if I had to get a suit or dress up or anything, I would go into the store, and if they had a woman who worked in there, I would ask her, like, what do you think I look nicer in? Like, and then she, they would proceed to picking everything out. I find most women like doing that. Like, I mean, especially if they worked in the store. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was an easy way to make a friend too. So, but I definitely I remember those experiences, and I'm still learning, and I'm definitely gonna be hitting you up and learning a lot of different things and stuff like that, because it's important. I mean, especially in the corporate world and just in beyond, like you say, just making the right impressions and on the path to doing whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Right.
It's definitely important, and it speaks volumes, because that's one of the things that I take on a role in the industry that I'm in, is helping the youth try to live out their dreams. Because honestly, working in esports and being able to make a living is a dream. Like, I
Right.
mean, the most, and most people are trying to get to that, and I just take a strong pride in helping people get to that. Just to
Congratulations, man.
No, I appreciate it. And same, like I said, it's a lot of synergy here. So this won't be the first or last time we talking or seeing each other. Especially we're in the same neck of the woods, so definitely have
No
to
doubt.
link up here soon.
Right.
Before we get out of here, I want people to know how they can learn more about That Suits You, how they can follow or contact you via social media. So pitch away.
Yeah. Thanks again for having me. I appreciate you, man. Shout out to Maurice for putting us together and for making that connection. Maurice is a solid dude. I appreciate him. Just had a birthday, so happy birthday, bro. But yeah, PK at That Suits You. You can definitely check out our website at www.thatsuitsyou.org. Check out all social media at That Suits You, THATSUITSYOU. Check out our book, Suited for Success, Volume 1 and Volume 2. It's basically 2 books. Each have 25 different Black and brown men sharing their stories of what they had to do to succeed, the challenges, the ups, the downs, the disappointment. Very motivational, very inspirational. Check that out at the website as well. You want to buy the book. We have these T-shirts, That Suits You T-shirts. We got masks. Check out everything that we're doing. Everything is on the website. I appreciate you having me on your platform. I hope we can get together, keep this synergy, like you said, going. I like the energy. I like what you're about. And if Maurice validates you, then you notarize.
That's the same way I felt, and it's definitely no hope. It will happen. It will happen. I just want to thank each and everybody who listened to this episode. Remember to follow the OG2CENTS podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Follow me on all social media platforms at OG King CURT. That's Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Go to www.ogkingcurt.com for everything OG King Kurt and the OG2CENTS podcast. Shout out to my team, Dave at the 2K Zone, Strider Visuals, Box Graphics, and Cy Evermore. Check out the 2K Zone shows, the Roundtable at 7:30 p.m., the 2K Zone Center Stage every Monday, 8 o'clock, and every Wednesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. All shows are streamed on Twitch, twitch.tv/2KZN. Catch me on EsportsXTRA every Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Wednesday and Thursdays at 7 p.m. and Sundays at 1 p.m. That's with host Larry Ridley, myself, Renee Montgomery, Durbin Royale, Antonio Williams, and Coach K. Make sure you check that out. We're putting the sports in esports. Make sure you tune in to next week's episode. And remember, if it makes sense, it's an OG2CENTS. OG out.
Put this work in, fellas. And much, much, much love to the entire 2K community for always showing me love. Without y'all, we wouldn't be here. Yeah.